Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Chef D, and I am here to bring you the final divisional breakdown for the AFC West. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's push this to 500 before the season starts, and then we can get the ball rolling, coming with more content, more daily content with daily fantasy videos, and more rankings coming out very, very soon after this one. So our first team we're going to speak about in the AFC West, you see it right here, is going to be the Denver Broncos. Okay, Denver Broncos, and they have a lot of weight on the shoulders of quarterbacks right now, and it's between Drew Lock and it's going to be between Teddy Bridgewater. You have upside in Drew Lock, and you have efficiency, but basic efficiency. Nothing more, nothing like extreme. You won't see a Teddy Bridgewater become a top 15 quarterback in fantasy, but he does enough for production and to get your offense into field goal range, an occasional touchdown, but that's not his forte. He loves to check down the ball, look over the middle, find the easy pass plays, which works if you're a team that just needs to be mediocre. But if you want to take it to the next level, you need Drew Lock to develop. So that's what I'm going to speak about right now, is Lock or Bridgewater. Now, as much as I bash Bridgewater, he supported 3 top 25 wide receivers with the Carolina Panthers. And just for proof right here, I have it for you. These are the wide receivers and the total points that they accrued last season. You had Devonta Adams is number 1, Tyreek Hill. We go down the line, and you come into the end of the top 25. You see Marvin Jones. You see Robbie Anderson right there. Then you go down a few more. You see Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore. They're all in the top 25 and well above 210 fantasy points in PPR leagues. Now, that says something for this offense that we have for the Denver Broncos. You got KJ Hamler. You got Jerry Jeudy. You got Cortland Sutton coming back from injury. And if he can support those guys, plus maybe some Noah Fant, we'll talk about him a little bit later, then it's conceivable for you to get Jerry Jeudy as wide receiver 35, to get Cortland Sutton right now going around that wide receiver 25 range. But you just don't know how he's been and how he's going to respond back to that injury. But the upside is there. Now you're hoping for Drew Lock to turn the page. And you're looking at the numbers last year. The completion percentage was horrible for him. Not much touchdowns. He loved Tim Patrick right here. If you're just looking at all passing targets, number 3 was Tim Patrick. And then Noah Fant was second, and Jerry Jeudy was third. But just looking at Jerry Jeudy, if we have a high breakout idea for him for this season, because he obviously looks good, and he had that opportunity last year to become the number 1 with no Cortland Sutton. 51 completions for 111 targets is absolutely horrible. That's below 50% completion percentage. That's more predicated on the QB play, because Drew Lock was not able to get Jerry Jeudy the ball efficiently. And if you had Bridgewater, on the other hand, he would have definitely got that ball to Jerry Jeudy, because he is not a deep guy. He is a short to intermediary wide receiver in his routes. So I like Jerry Jeudy. I almost prefer Bridgewater wins this, because I know that at least my receptions and yards are going to be up to a nice level. But maybe the TDs might just fall down, and I'll deal with that, because if I'm getting volume, if this was instead of 51 with Drew Lock, if this was 80 completions, that's a lot of points in PPR leagues, guys. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of yards after the catch. That could have been more possible TDs. It's a whole new perspective if we're getting the ball to our playmakers, and Teddy Bridgewater can do that. So I think Jerry Jeudy can break out, but we will see how the offense is run with Cortland Sutton. Now, we're going to, hopefully, the Denver Broncos give Bridgewater the reins first. And then if he falters, if they're losing and they're 0 for 4, 0 5, then we can see what Drew Lock is done. And that's going to be his final opportunity, because they, year after year, they keep supporting, giving him a nice supporting cast, but he continues to fall and fail, all right? Another guy that the Denver Broncos went up and got was Javonte Williams, the rookie out of North Carolina, the running back. Now, not saying I definitely like him where he's going right now, currently at running back 27. I kind of disagree. I think Melvin Gordon is still the guy unless there's any type of injury. I don't think I should, put that kind of draft capital on Javonte Williams when it's not a clear backfield, when Melvin Gordon is fighting for a contract right now, and also it's going to be trade value. If Melvin Gordon's playing well, then his trade value goes through the roof, and then they can ship him off to another team. Now, are you willing to wait for Javonte Williams is the other question. And if we're just looking at red zone rushing attempts last year, Melvin Gordon had a high percentage. You can maybe see Javonte Williams fall in that Phillip Lindsay role. Definitely going to get work in that third down area as well. But when it comes to the red zone, when it comes to getting these TDs in these short yardage situations, Melvin Gordon is a very good option. 30 rushes last year in the red zone, 9 TDs. That's what you want to see. And from that high double digit area, just right below. If he's doing it at a well above 50% clip, then he is a good guy. All right. So next and last but not least will be Noah Fant for the Denver Broncos. And just looking at the numbers right here, all passing targets, he came second. Now, I think this is predicated on the fact that Cortland Sutton was out, and they weren't really able to utilize KJ Hamler to his full abilities. Now you're seeing a more explosive KJ Hamler, as you've seen in the preseason. And now Cortland Sutton comes back. Jerry Jeudy's now, higher on the totem pole in wide receivers. So I might see a downgrade to Noah Fant with these 92 targets and 62 completions. Also, we just got news over here on NBC Sports Edge that he is dealing with a leg issue, and this is the type of stuff you do not need going into your drafts. You thought you could wait on a tight end. You don't want to wait on a tight end and think that he's going to be fine when the regular season starts, and he has some question marks going into the season. It depends on the type of player, and this player in his situation, it doesn't add up because, like I said, you got Cortland Sutton coming back. He's still alpha. Then you got Jerry Jeudy. He's still an alpha. You still have KJ Hamler. You still have rushing down work. And then Noah Fant probably is in that, third to fourth, most likely fourth option if we're doing, 2 wide receivers and a running back set and a tight end. So it's very, very questionable for him, for Noah Fant. And I think I'll choose someone else in that range. Give me Robert Tonyan, give me a Tyler Higbee in that area, and we'll move on. Next team is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. We have right here the AFC champions right here. Now, need I say more? These are the Chiefs. I don't need to give you a spiel of what Chiefs to do, but let me tell you what they improved from last season. Obviously, they were absolutely exposed in the Super Bowl with their offensive line last year, and they definitely addressed that need. They signed Joe Thuney at left guard. They traded for Orlando Brown from the Ravens at tackle. They drafted Trey Smith, and they got Creed Humphrey in the draft, 2 rookies. So they're fully bolstered this offensive line, so there should be no excuses. They have nice depth in that area, and that leads me on to the breakout of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I understand he had a little bit of an ankle problem a few days ago, but he is fine. There's no problems, okay? He's obviously going to start week 1, and that boosted that offensive line. And the fact that he was overvalued last year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now you're getting him at a range where it's, all right, it's not first round. More to the late second, early third, you can get CEH. And this is a price that I'm willing to pay because people are not Not necessarily 100% down on him, but they were a little soured with the expectations. Seeing a running back in Andy Reid's offense, it wasn't a home run. Okay, you got more of a double, and you expected a home run. Now the expectation is a little bit lower, but the prospects are there. The offense obviously is one of the number one offenses in the league, and you get a boost to the offensive line. I'm all in on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and he's going to get full 3-down work. Obviously, Darrell Williams might come in just a little bit. Jerry McKinnon might, but the main guy, and you've seen it already in preseason, that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the guy. Now, one of my favorite wide receivers in the whole entire league is Tyreek Hill. And I think this year, I was right last year about Devonta Adams. I thought he was 100% the number one wide receiver. This year, Tyreek Hill is going. I'm dying on this hill. Tyreek Hill is the number one wide receiver in fantasy this year. Absolutely insane numbers. In 2020, 87 receptions, 1,276 yards, 15 TDs. Obviously, that was not enough. That was just below, like 29 fantasy points, just below Devonta Adams. I think that changes this year. I like Tyreek Hill even more this year. Obviously, the speed is unquestionable. The targets are there. The touchdowns are there. If you've seen Tyreek Hill right here, red zone, 16 completions, 23 targets, 8 TDs, more than Travis Kelce, more target share than Travis Kelce, more targets than Travis Kelce. Then you're looking at all passing targets. He falls a little bit behind Kelce in total completions and targets by 9, but the touchdowns are 17, and that's not no fluke. He has elite. He's one of the He is the fastest player in the NFL, and I think the threat of CEH cutting it up in the middle is going to leave more passing lanes for Kelce, more passing lanes for Tyreek Hill, and Mecole Hardman. So I'm all in on Tyreek Hill. And the next guy I'm going to talk about is Travis Kelce. I can't trust a guy that cuts off his beard. I can't do it. I can't do it. Don't do it. Now, you going to change your look now after 5 seasons of consistency? I don't trust you, Kelce. I do not trust you. Now, are you worth, and it's mainly because of the value, are you worth a mid-first round pick? No. I need me a bona fide running back in that first round, and then I can move on and build from there. Because once you get past that, it is an absolute shit show. And I'm not risking, obviously, basically, Kelce's a wide receiver 1. I'm not wasting a pick on a wide receiver 1 when I need a bona fide 3-down back, and you can get that in the first round. You can get that in McCaffrey, you get that in Dalvin Cook, you got upside with Zeke. Maybe you want to take the risk on Barkley. You still got Aaron Jones. There's a ton of guys that will exceed Travis Kelce's scoring total because they're running the ball and they're catching just as much, almost near. Especially if you're talking about Cook and McCaffrey. And maybe even Zeke because you got Dak Prescott back. So it's just too much. The value is too much. It's too much. As long as you get your number one running back, then fine. Do whatever you want. But I'm not paying a mid-first round pick for Travis Kelce. I'm sorry. So I'm down on Kelce just a little bit. Wait till that second round. Get yourself a running back. But we're all in on Tyreek Hill, and I like Mecole Hardman with Sammy Watkins gone. You now have a situation where Mecole Hardman will be that wide receiver 3, and he's going to step into that situation and kill it, man. He has that upside and speed. You saw him with a nice touchdown in the last preseason game. He is a mismatch for a lot of these corners because of his speed and agility, and I really like him where he's going currently at wide receiver 53. So our breakouts, Mecole Hardman, which I just said, at wide receiver 53, Clyde Edwards-Helaire at running back 14, and Tyreek Hill, yes, a breakout, at wide receiver 2 because he will be the number 1 wide receiver in the league in fantasy this year. All right. Next team is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders, and there is a lot of potential for this team. Obviously, Derek Carr stepped up. He had a nice connection with Darren Waller. And will Waller repeat his performance of last year? I think he will do almost near the same thing. Just almost, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little less. But he is a bona fide top 3 tight end in the league. The target share he gets is unquestionable. If we're just looking at it right now, this is the red zone attempts, but if we're just looking at all pass targets, Darren Waller was number 1. You can't say no to 147 targets. Like, even if you had one, if you dropped that by to 120, no, not many, not really. It's like a 1% tight end right there. Over 100 targets, period, is absolutely insane. The fact that he has that size and speed combination, and he's one of the bigger red zone threats for the Las Vegas Raiders is another thing, as you see right here. In the red zone, Derek Carr absolutely clinged to Darren Waller. 21 completions, 27 targets, 6 TDs, a 77% completion percentage, and a 30% target share in the red zone. Go get you an elite tight end. Wait on Kelsey, but in that second round, get you a Waller, get you a Kittle, and you should be fine. All right. So we're all in on Darren Waller. And then next is going to be a sophomore breakout I got, and that will be Bryan Edwards. And we're looking at the production in college, obviously, because the sample size that we got from his rookie season was a little bit of a letdown, but the promise is there. You're seeing it in practice. You're seeing it in preseason. All the coach talk and how Derek Carr is speaking about Bryan Edwards. We could have a breakout here. He has the production in college, as you see, the 94th percentile college dominator. That is insane. The breakout age. No, not many wide receivers at a breakout age that's this young. There is none. He is the only one. This is the youngest breakout age in player profile history. We're all wide receivers. 17.8. So the production should come. The upside is there. He has the size. He has the speed. Can he put it together with Derek Carr? I think he can this year. And you're getting him at an absolute steal and wide receiver 70. This is a super, super sleeper. And as you can see, best comparable to Corey Davis, who is no slouch at all, who was one of those top 25 wide receivers as well last year. Now we're going to move over to my boy, who a lot of people are just hating on. But it's basically the same situation, and that's Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is another sleeper, currently going at running back 15. He's falling to around that round 3, round 4 range because they're looking at him as like, Josh Jacobs. He didn't really do nothing. Well, yes, he did. He was very productive. Not very productive, but he had over 250 carries. What other running back is getting that? What are you looking for in the round 4, round 5 range? It's going to be guys that are splitting backfields and not really a main ball carrier in that red zone area. And that's what you're getting with Josh Jacobs. Okay, he doesn't catch that many passes, but he catches some. He will be sharing some work with King and Drake, but I'm not worried about that because he had Devontae Booker last year who was doing basically the same thing. And Josh Jacobs still was a very solid running back. If we're just looking at the rankings last year, what you didn't notice, if you go to where Josh Jacobs finished last season at the running back position, he was still top 10. Right below James Robinson, right here. Right above Kareem Hunt, who broke out, and right above Ezekiel, who had a bad year. Josh Jacobs was still a top 10 running back, and you're getting him at running back 15 and basically later, 100% later, because people are looking at him and they're like, he didn't do nothing. Go get you Josh Jacobs, okay? If you need a running back, if you need that RB2 in round 4, round 5, go get you Josh Jacobs. He is falling to those areas because people are getting wide receivers. They might get their first quarterback. They might get a tight end and avoid someone that has been very solid year in and year out, and he gets the goal line work and is very effective in those situations. All right. Next team is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers, and we had a big breakout from Herbert. He came out of nowhere. Will we see a next level from him? Can he repeat it and go to a whole nother level? Because he had 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's a great ratio. And they will throw more this year. The question is, can he not turn the ball over? We can get in a situation where he's pass happy, and we might see some more turnovers from Justin Herbert. He does have rushing upside. I'm not too worried about where he's going currently, but I do have some other quarterbacks above him. Tannehill's one. Matthew Stafford's one. Another one of those guys because I just like the supporting cast around them. And then that's why I would bump down Herbert just a little bit because I like the other guys around him. And I think the other quarterbacks that I just spoke about are in better situations than Herbert. They did bolster the line just a little bit, but we are looking at a situation where we need Mike Williams to be healthy, who I like, and I think he's a breakout. Keenan Allen is the number 2 wide receiver. But number 3, we're going to have a big battle between Jalen Guyton, Tyron Johnson, and Josh Palmer. Who's going to be that next supporting cast wide receiver just in case Mike Williams might get hurt? Because after that, it's kind of ugly. They did acquire Jared Cook after losing Hunter Henry, but the prospects on the other teams with the other quarterbacks, with the Rams and the Tennessee Titans, are in better situations than the Chargers. So I'd rather have those quarterbacks than going for a Justin Herbert if you wait on quarterback to that round 9, round 10 area, okay? And then I'm also down on Eckler, okay? Now, if we're just going, the latest news about Eckler, let me just pull it up for you guys really quick, was that let me go. Let me put in Josh Kelly then. They want to put him up. Okay. So Josh Kelly is now an improved pass blocker. There's a very crowded backfield in Los Angeles right now. We have a new head coach. This is not Anthony Lynn anymore, who's more focused on his one running back. But Austin Eckler, predicated mainly on his receiving capabilities, especially in PPR leagues, but he doesn't get touchdowns. He only had 3 touchdowns last year. Obviously, injured season, but the previous year before that was another single-digit touchdown year. It was like 3 touchdowns. Again, they're looking for a bigger back. So what Anthony Lynn did was use Eckler between the 20s, but then when you get into the red zone, bring in a big back. That's why Josh Kelly was getting a lot of work. In previous years was different running backs, but now with a new head coach and new OC, this team actually likes Joshua Kelly. This team actually likes Justin Jackson. This team actually likes Larry Roundtree, who was looking good in preseason, and they're trying to bank on a short yardage back and maybe take some more playing time from Austin Eckler. So I'm a little bit questionable on Austin Eckler this year, going high, in that late first round, early second round range. Just because you think he's 100% banked in on 90 receptions, 800 yards, and plus rushing work. So I'm a little bit questionable on him, but my breakout will be Mike Williams for this offense currently at wide receiver 44. And he just needs to put it all together, all right? He has a year with over 1,000 receiving yards. He has a year with over 10 touchdowns. Can he combine both and stay healthy? The upside is there. He finally has the quarterback to get him the ball. And he made some absolutely insane catches last season in traffic that really, this guy is ready. This guy is ready. So I'm hoping Mike Williams finally comes through for people this season coming up. And that will be the AFC West breakdown, all right? I think we have some solid breakouts. Definitely a lot of late round guys like Mike Williams, Brian Edwards, some other guys that we got there. But thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessageSD, and I'll be back with another video very, very soon. Peace out.